Hello, beautiful children. It's amazing to see you again in my mind's eye. Now, I've been doing a lot of videos for Pesach, which you will see the 18th and the 25th. I believe they come out in the Kol Kinlos newsletter, and they also come out on my Facebook page. So I hope that all the little people and their grown-ups are able to see it and enjoy it. It's there especially for you. Today, I may mention Pesach, but actually it's the Parsha today. So what Parsha is it? Are we ready to learn the Bible portion? Rolling back the time, and one more rolling back the time, and one more rolling back the time, and thinking and thinking and thinking. What Parsha are we on, boys and girls? Do we know? It is the third book of the Torah. A new portion of the third book of the Torah. And what did I tell you? When we start a new book, the first portion, the first Parsha, Sedra, will have the same name as the book of the Torah. So, first, second, third book of the Torah, and it's called Vayikra. So the Parsha, because it's starting off the book of Vayikra, will have the same name, Vayikra. And Vayikra is all about Hashem's special tent, the Mishkan, and Hashem's special house, the Bet HaMikdash, and the presents to Hashem that we call korbanot that were given to Hashem, so that Hashem would forgive us and they would atone, they would make up for things that we did that we should not have done. So you could say, well, Natalie, we don't do korbanot today. No, we don't. We don't have the Mishkan today. No, we don't. We don't have the Bet HaMikdash today. No, we don't. We don't have the Sanhedrin today, those 71 judges. No, we don't have the judges, not in the same way today. So you could say, well, Natalie, why bother learning about it? Because we don't have it. Well, we learn about it because as we're learning about it, it's as if we're doing it, our rabbis and sages tell us, and also we get forgiveness that way. And also, personally, because it's really important to learn about things, even if they're in the past, so that we know not to do them today. We learn in our Pesach story about how terrible it was that the Jewish people suffered because they were slaves. Being a slave is totally unacceptable for someone. It's not okay for someone to treat someone like that. It's okay to work for someone, but not to be a slave. So we learn, it's very important part of history to learn about the terrible things that happened and not glorify them, not say they were good, but to accept that they were very bad and that they should not have happened. So it's really important to learn about the korbanot, the presents to Hashem. And we believe that Mashiach, the Messiah, is going to come and he's going to build the third Bet HaMikdash. So if we don't learn about the korbanot, maybe we don't really want him to come. And of course, yes, we do, Mr. Mashiach or Mrs. Mashiach, whoever you are, if you're ready to come, we're ready to see you. Okay. So we need to learn about also the Jewish holidays which come in this book, and we learn a very important thing, V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, that you should love your friend as yourself, which is really, really important. And children, you guys are completely free of sin, not like me. I'm much older, so I've had a lot more time to do some very naughty things, but you are very, very good. And even if you do naughty things, you will be forgiven for them and you have time to make amends. So it's very important for children to learn about the korbanot. And I will try not to make them boring. I will try the best that I can not to make them boring. And Moshe, the leader, is the leader that didn't want honor, didn't want praise. Always his ways were great. And that was Moshe. Moshe even said, instead of Vayikra with a big Aleph, why don't you just make it smaller, Vayaker, as if Hashem, you just happen to be near me, you just happen to be there, instead of you called me. And Moshe was very special. So how about the people that we know that actually gave korbanot to Hashem? Hopefully you can see them. I think we're going to discuss, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's it, not counting them by the person, but by the picture. So who was the first person of all to offer korbanot? Somebody by the name, who was the first man that we know of? Who was the first man? Do we remember? Adam. He offered a sacrifice. Why did he do that? Well, in Gan Eden, things didn't go so swell, did they? There was a piece of fruit that got eaten that shouldn't have been eaten. There was a punishment. There was night. Maybe Adam and Chava were scared they would never see day again. Then day happened, and Adam was very happy and relieved to be forgiven and gave a korban to Hashem, a present to Hashem. Adam's son, Hevel, there's a Hevel and Cain story. Haven't really got too much time for that, but Hevel thought, I'll give my nicest, fattest, not in a bad way, big, rich, fat sheep, nice and healthy and plump. I will give that to Hashem. And unfortunately, Cain, his brother, gave sort of some flaxseed. He didn't really give a very nice present to Hashem. So Hashem was pleased with Hevel's present, but not with Cain's present, which made Cain very upset. And he then hurt his brother. And Hashem said, where's your brother? And Cain said, am I my brother's keeper? And it all went very wrong after that. The third person to sacrifice to Hashem, the clue is a big ark on the water. Yeah, Noah offered a sacrifice because he came out of the teva, he came out of the ark, and he was so grateful to Hashem that Hashem had saved his life and his wife and his children. So that was a sacrifice to Hashem. Who else was there? Well, there was the first person who said, I don't believe in idols, that we know about, and who started converting people to Judaism, that we know about, because Noah didn't try to convert the bad people to be good again, or if he did, he wasn't successful, or he didn't try hard enough. Abraham did. I've told you the fourth person. Abraham. So he actually had quite a few tests. He had 10 tests and he passed them all, and he built 4 altars. So that's quite a lot. An altar, Mizbeach, is where the animal is offered to Hashem. Who else built altars and who else sacrificed animals to Hashem, gave karbanot to Hashem? Well, somebody who we think had poor eyesight, was very special, nearly got given to Hashem himself, but in the end he got replaced by a ram. I hope that's a ram. That's the closest I could get to the ram. And his name is Yitzchak, Isaac. And Isaac set up one altar to Hashem. And then we've got somebody whose son had a coat of many colours and who was separated from his son for a very, very long time. It's in the Pesach story, in the build-up to the Pesach story. The father of the 12 Shevatim, the 12 tribes, and his name was Jacob, Yaakov. And Yaakov had a very hard life indeed, and he built 2 altars to Hashem. And the last person I'm going to talk about is the great leader of Bnei Israel in this week's Parsha. Any guesses? Do you remember? His name was Moshe. And Moshe was extremely special. And he gave presents to Hashem after a battle with Amalek, where Esav's descendants, Amalek, attacked the Jewish people. Very cruel after they'd left Egypt. They shouldn't have done that. And they went out of their way to attack them. And therefore we are told to blot out the name of Amalek. Okay, so we've gone through in the past of the history all the great people who offered karbanot. So this parsha is all about karbanot, animals given to Hashem on the Mizbeach and Choshet, on the copper altar. And they're all different types of korbanot. I'm going to go through them a little bit. And we're going to have a look here at this picture, just to remember again. Here we go. Here's the picture of learning. So, why do we need to learn about korbanot? We did it a little bit. Maybe you can give your own examples. It's as if we did it. we will know what to do when Moshiach comes. So there's some more answers, aren't there? That's very good. Right, a type of offering. One is called an ola. Now, I don't have laminates for everything, but I'm going to go over it again when I'm finished. So the ola offering, which is completely burnt, the ola offering. You give it because you want to. You can give an ox. Well, I don't have an ox, but I'm going to show you a bull. This is not an ox, it's a bull, but I don't have an ox. A lamb. Oh yes, I've got a lamb. That's the Pesach Korban, isn't it? The Korban Pesach. Hello, lamb. 10th of Nisan, tied to the bedpost in Egypt. And on the 15th of Nisan, the Jewish people, dressed ready to go, ate you. Not allowed to break any bones of the Korban Pesach. Not allowed to leave anything over till the next day. Okay, I've done that. A goat. I don't know if... Oh, yes, here we go. I've got the daddy goat. I don't think I've got the mummy goat. Here we go, a goat. A turtle dove or a pigeon. Now, I don't have the birds. I should really get them again. But I do have a lovely book called The Soul Bird by Michal Snunit. And this week's Parsha is keeping our souls and giving the Korban to Hashem instead. So that can be the turtle dove or the pigeon. Okay, anything else? The birds can be male or female. Great. The animals must be male for the burnt offering, and the sacrifice must be completely burnt. Okay, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, we've done it. Let's have a look at another type of offering. Okay, so if you weren't wealthy enough, because it might cost a lot of money to have an animal, if you weren't wealthy enough to have an animal, then you could have a bird. But what happens if you didn't have enough money for an animal or a bird? I might not be able to afford an animal or a bird. So what could I use instead? Well, here we go. Flour, some oil, and some salt. We had to put salt into the mincha offerings. You couldn't put fruit juice in them, you couldn't put honey in them, and there were two different types of mincha offerings, and one would be a mincha marcheshes, which was a deep pan, like a deep pan pizza, but it's not a pizza, and the other one would be a mincha machavat, a flat pan pizza, if you like, but they weren't. It's more like, and they weren't allowed to be they weren't allowed to rise, so they had to be flatbreads, sort of like Iraqi flatbreads, I think. So that would be a present to Hashem with salt on it. And we don't have that anymore, but we do have salt. Do you know when we put salt on our bread? I mean, mummies and daddies may put salt on their bread a lot. It's very good not to have too much salt. You have to be very careful with salt intake. But we have salt when we make our bracha and the challah, then we have salt. So that reminds us of the korbanot that we don't have anymore, but we still have our challah. But the showcase bread in Hashem's special tent, the Mishkan, and in Hashem's special house, the Bet HaMikdash, they were chametz. They were not like chalot in the way that we've got chalot today, but they did rise. They were thick breads, not like the mincha offerings, which were thin breads. So the poor person can bring flour, oil, and spices. The mincha offering could be raw, it could be baked, it could be fried, not leavened dough, so we couldn't have chametz. There you go, it's another hint to Pesach. And the Kohen would make a fist with a mixture using 3 fingers, which is kind of really difficult for me to do, but it's kind of like that. And he would use his thumb and his little finger to wipe. I can't do that. You see if you can do it, to wipe off the rest. And it would be burnt on the altar, and the Kohanim would eat the rest. Yummy, yummy in the tummy. Might have been very yummy. How about this type of offering? The shlemim offering, peace offering, can be a male or female animal. You're happy. It's always nice to be happy, but it's especially nice to be happy and bring a korban to Hashem because you're happy. Everyone gets a part, and the owner and family would get most of the animal, and the Kohen would get the chest and the leg. Very nice. Very important to share with the Kohen. Very important to do that. And this type of korban to Hashem, this present to Hashem, the chatos, the sin offering. What could a person have done? Well, we all do wrong things. Person could have said something not true as a witness. That's not very good. Person could have gone into the Mishkan in a state that was considered impure at a time when he wasn't or she wasn't allowed to go in. And what would that be? That would be a female goat or a sheep. Well, I'm sorry, this is probably a daddy goat, but we're just going to have to imagine it's not. Well, I think it's fine to show sheepy. Hello, everyone. I'm the korban, sheepy. There we go. And could bring 2 turtle doves or pigeons. Okay, don't forget the Soul Bird book. It's a beautiful book for when we're feeling sad or angry or happy. And it talks about our soul, which is very beautiful. Sometimes they give it to people when somebody's gone back to Hashem. It's a lovely, lovely book. Okay, so we've learnt quite a bit. Let's see if we can just recap. So an olah, completely burnt offering. A mincha, a flour offering. A shlemim, a peace offering. A chatas, a sin offering. And an asham, for wrongdoing. And they're offered, the ones that are free will for free will, and the ones for the sinning after the Aveira. And we know that there are different types of asham. Asham gazelot, stealing. I stole the goat. I need to make atonement for it. Asham milot, stealing from the Bet HaMikdash. I took the incense perfume, which I must not ever do. Or asham talui, uncertainty. I don't know if I took this. I didn't take it. Maybe I took it. Maybe I didn't. I don't remember. I'm not quite sure whether if I did do something wrong or not. There you go. So let's just have a recap. So the olah, the korban, it could be a bull. It could be a ram. It could be a he-goat. It could be a pigeon or a turtle dove. And you can do this with mummies and daddies. You can show them that you know. Who was allowed to eat it? Nobody was allowed to eat the olah. It had to be completely burnt. Okay? Was it a free will offering, or did you have to give it? Obligatory. It was free will. Was it kodshei kedashim or kodshei kalim, less holy? It was kodshei kedashim. It was very holy. Why would you bring it? Something thought wrong. Not doing something right. Not fulfilling a mitzvah by mistake. Doing an avera, doing something wrong that can be corrected with a mitzvah. So I've done something wrong and I'm going to do a good deed instead. The mincha. What was that? You ready? Flour. Now be careful if you're touching mummy's flour with permission, and we're for Pesach, so we really don't want flour all over the place. Oil. Water. Okay. And salt. And maybe some spice. So the mincha, some was burned, some was eaten by the Kohanim inside the Bet HaMikdash. Free will or obligatory? Free will. Okay. And kodshei kedashim or kodshei kalim? Holy of holies or less holy? Kodshei kalim. Kodshei kedashim, sorry. And the atonement of a mincha was similar to the olah above, the averot for which the korban atoned. Okay, korban shlamim. What was that? An ox. I know it's not an ox, it's a bull, but I'm going to show it. Or a cow. Here we go. Here's my cow. Female sheep. Well, let's bring back sheepy. Hello, everyone. I'm the korban. Okay. Male or female goat. Okay, and loaves for Shalmei Todah. That's bread for Shalmei Todah. So that was the Korban Shlamim. Some was burnt, some was eaten by the Kohanim and their families, and some by the owner in Yerushalayim. It was brought as a free will. And was it Kedoshim or Kalim? Was it more holy or less holy? It was actually Kedoshim Kalim. It was less holy. And was it brought for a sin? No. The Korban Shlamim expresses happiness, 'cause I'm happy, so I'm bringing a Korban, 'cause I'm happy, 'cause I know I have won. So it's Korban Shlamim. Korban Chatas, that would be a female goat or a female sheep. Hello, I'm Sheepy, I'm the Korban. Okay, some was burned and some was eaten by the Kohanim in the Bet HaMikdash. Was it free will? It was obligatory. You had to bring it. Was it Kodshei Kedashim, holy, or Kodshei Kalim, a little bit less holy? It was Kodshei Kedashim, more holy. And why did they bring it? For certain kind of sins that were committed by mistake. Oh, I didn't realise it was Shabbat and I broke Shabbat. Sort of things like that, I think. And Korban Asham, the wrongdoing, that was the ram. Hello, ram, here you are. And that some meat was burned and some was eaten by the Kohanim in the Bet HaMikdash. Was it free will? It was obligatory. You had to bring it. Kodshei Kedashim, holier, or Kodshei Kalim, less holy? Kodshei Kedashim, more holy. And the Asham, we know, we went through it. Asham Gazelut, stealing money maybe from a fellow Jew. Asham Milut, using something belonging to the Bet HaMikdash, big no-no. Or number 3, Asham Talui, for possibly having committed a kind of avera that needs a chatat, a sacrifice, so that one could be forgiven. And we know that the Kohen would bring a bull, and the king would bring a he-goat, and the Sanhedrin each tribe would have to bring a bull if there had been a mistake with the ruling from the Sanhedrin. I think we've learnt lots and lots and lots about this week's Parashah. Listen to your mummies and daddies and do what they say. Listen to your mummies and daddies. Please don't forget to pray. Listen to your mummies and daddies. Our rabbis lead the way. Then they will be happy. See you again soon. Now you know all about the korbanot. Go tell all your friends and family.